460 Canadian troops already have been deployed, Minister. 3,400 more are on standby. At what point might Canada send in more troops? This is what President Zelensky has been asking for since last night and on social media this morning.
Well, the short answer is that for Canada, this is not a combat mission. We have trainers that are in Europe that have trained over 30,000 Ukrainian soldiers who are engaged in combat right now. We have sent both lethal and non-lethal aid, approximating $10 million worth of aid to Ukraine, and we've also provided economic aid, about $700 million of economic aid. So our support has been multifaceted, but in terms of combat itself, that is not on the table for the Canadian Armed Forces.
What about sending more troops to NATO countries surrounding Ukraine?
It's a good question. In fact, we have about 540 Canadian Armed Forces in Latvia and in that area, protecting and defending the NATO's eastern flank. But again, that is for NATO's defensive and deterrent posture. We did commit to sending up to 460 more Canadian Armed Forces to that region on Tuesday. And so we are very much working in concert with our NATO allies to ensure that we are maintaining the defensive and deterrent posture upon which NATO and the international rules-based order is built.
Minister Anand, I want to focus on the capital of Ukraine this morning and politicians like yourself, members of their parliament, who are right now in danger for their lives. The president saying this morning he realizes politicians like himself are the target. There is concern for their safety. You posted on Instagram recently to my Ukrainian counterpart, Minister Reznikov, who I saw only a few days ago and with whom I am in close contact. I am with you. Have you been in contact with any parliamentarians? And if so, how are they thinking? How are they feeling today?
Minister Reznikov and I speak frequently and communicate frequently, including yesterday. He is resolved. They are resolved. The sovereignty of their country and the democracy on which it is built is fundamentally important and of preeminent importance to them, and indeed to NATO countries. And we will continue to ensure that we do what we can to support Ukraine in this particular environment. Let's be clear, Russia is the aggressor here. Russia amassed more than 150,000 troops along the Ukrainian border while it said it had no plans to invade. Russia undertook exercises in Belarus and built up its capacity in the Black Sea while it said that these were mere exercises. The reality is that Russia was preparing to invade, which we saw that it did. And in response, Ukraine is resolved, and we need to do what we can to protect the democracy and the international rules-based order that is really at the heart of the peace that we have seen in the world since the end of the Second World War.
Minister, sanctions have so far been ignored by Vladimir Putin. If sanctions are our only option, what happens next?
The important point I'd like to make here is that we have a graduated approach to implementing sanctions. Our first hit was on Tuesday when we imposed sanctions on Russian banks and members of the Duma who voted in favor of declaring independent regions in Ukraine. Yesterday, we increased the severity of those sanctions, sanctioning members of the National Council, sanctioning Russian oligarchs. And this will continue to be our approach in concert with our allies to ensure that sanctions are hard-hitting and effective, and that Russia has feeling of this price that it will be paying.
Will there be any involvement of our troops in helping with refugees who are fleeing Ukraine right now to neighboring countries?
Most definitely. We have Canadian Armed Forces in Poland at the current time, prepared to assist with the humanitarian effort. I will say that we have a across-the-government approach to assisting with the refugees. We have a hotline and email address set up for anyone seeking safe passage, sos@international.gc.ca, and we will continue to ensure across the board that we are assisting Canadians who need safe passage to Canada and out of Ukraine.
And how will we get them here?
There is a number of options on the table, of course, but our first goal is to make sure they have safe passage out of Ukraine. And as I said, we have approximately 150 Canadian Armed Forces members on standby in Poland, ready to assist.
Finally, Minister, your message to Canadians who have family of Ukrainian descent who are watching you this morning saying sanctions take a long time, the capital could fall in the next couple of days, and we need help now.
I have been in close contact with the Ukrainian community in Canada. Approximately 1.3 million Ukrainians are in this country and have been in close contact with the Ukrainian Canadian Congress. And I will say that we are doing whatever we can to assist. As I said, we have sent lethal aid and non-lethal aid. We have sent humanitarian and economic aid. We are in close contact with the Ukrainian government. The Prime Minister spoke with Zelensky yesterday, and we will continue to do whatever we can to assist the Ukrainian people at this time. It is an urgent issue. It is the issue affecting global stability at the current time, and Canada is here for Ukraine and the Ukrainian community.
And your message to your counterparts in the Ukraine who you were just with days ago and are in contact with today? I
have many times told them that I stand with them. I've had hours-long conversations with Minister Resnikov, and he knows that Canada is a partner and a friend to Ukraine, and we will stand with them in their effort and fight for sovereignty and stability. If the capital falls today, will you recognize Russia as the leader of Ukraine? We believe in Ukraine's sovereignty. As I said, that is the main message from the Canadian government. Ukraine is a sovereign democratic nation, period. Minister Anand, thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.